YouTube, I've got the radios out of the go box, and as you can see, empty again. Just got the wires for the panel dangling down, which are going to be getting cut soon and reconnected, well, connected to the battery permanently. Both the radios, both sets of wires have been screwed into these crocodile clips, and they're going to stay on the battery permanently. The reason I'm using crocodile clips is if the battery decides to break and go faulty or just die from overcharge, I can just unclip it and sling in another one. And I did measure this to fit the battery perfectly, or we can have two that way, but what I really want is the battery to lie down flat like that. I've screwed in two bits of pine, you can't quite see, and some little eyelet loop hook things. So in theory, I haven't tried it yet, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and a selection of rubber bands. I can use one of these or all four. I want to try and find, I've got some old Hoover belt somewhere, which will probably fit on there a bit better, but I'm hoping that will not so much hold it securely, but just stop it from flying out. Might put two on there. Again, this is all just trial and error. Probably better off with a whole load of them. If it's too tight, it'll pull the wood out, the screws out. So that's the plan anyway. The battery in there, and then instead of it being that way around, it's going to be that way around. So it'll sit on a desk, and I'm going to screw the radios in one ear and one ear, screw them into there, and then I can fit my logbook on top and whatever cables, and still have room for another 1, 2 radios or 2 matching speakers. At the moment, housing the battery, and then going to install the radios. Might put 2 batteries in there and then wire them together, but I'm trying to keep the weight down. So I've only got the I can't remember what this was now, had to work it out because it didn't say. I think it's about 4.5 amps. I've got a 7 something amp, but this will charge quicker with this panel. Yeah, it will die quicker, but the cycle will be better. So that's the reason it's going in there. Smaller ampage isn't really the best for radios, but I'm thinking faster charge probably half the time than the other one I've got of these. Right, there we go, elastic band on. Just doubled it over and put it around all 4. I'm going to move around, but I can just wedge stuff in there. I'd rather do that, and then if I ever come across a bigger battery or want to put 2 in there, I can stand 2 up next to each other. I'd rather have something that I can play with later instead of having to unbolt or unscrew. Same as before, using brass screws because they don't rust, and these are brass hooks. Not that it touch wood, it shouldn't get any water in it, but you know. Right, there we go. That was the top. The radio was screwed in here, so I'm leaving that one in there in case I want to screw something later on. But I've just laid down support for the brackets. That's been screwed in from underneath. Just got 2 screws in the centre at the moment, so I'm going to offset a couple more on the sides because the screws are about there. So I'm going to put a little twist pivot at the moment, so I'll put sort of one there, one there, one there, one there, from the other side of course. And then Then the brackets will go on there. One there and one there. And then they should be able to get the radios in. If I measured it right, the middle of the radio is there. And the most important thing for me is being able to shut the lid with the microphones plugged in. And these radios, luckily, are similar in length by about 5mm. So that one comes up nearly flush, and that one in the centre is a bit slightly further back. But they're clear from the battery compartment to enable me to plug in and out antennas and whatever. And now I can just throw the microphones sort of in there and then just shut it all up. Right, let's get screwing again. Right, there's the door lid. The radios are in, all bolted in now, screwed down. The brackets are different. That's a little universal bracket, but it's got hooks so the radio can't be lifted up, and that's sort of an old Midland but not as old as this one, and it can't go any lower down, so they're not sitting level. The Midland's about 1.5 inches higher than the Team. If you're wondering, that's the UK 40 and that's the UK mids. I was going to buy them both in one. The old radio was mids and UK FM 40, 27 meg. But if radio of both modes breaks, you haven't got the other mode. Being this go box for the prepping side of things, an emergency situation, if one of the radios break, at least I can transmit on the other one, if you get the picture. And there's room still to house 70 cm or 2 meters or a multi-band radio. Probably get another 2 radios in here easily, comfortably. Battery is in the back, held in by its elastic bands. Both radios and the solar panel are wired to the crocodile clips, so I can just unclip them. It's quite secure, it's not really going to go anywhere. The box is only going to lay down flat or stand upright. It's never really going to be chucked around or tipped upside down. And yeah, the clips for the lid are quite conveniently just the right size to hang the microphone on. This one doesn't fit as well, it just kind of falls off, but it hooks into there. So they're both in. Both working. Suppose I have to find somewhere more permanent for these to go. And at the moment it's only on a really thin chest of drawers, but if it was on the table, that does sort of go underneath and you can stand it up on an angle like that, but the drawers aren't really big enough to support the box, so it will stand up on an angle on a table, stand on its base facing upwards, as I used it today when I went and collected that firewood. It can sit on a passenger seat in a car, a footwell, if you've got a big enough dashboard, on the floor next to your armchair, on a desk. It's not the normal boxes people use, like a gator box. It's an old film reel case, and it's doing the job so far. I've got room in the back to get the antenna in and out. But what I need to do is get myself a switcher box, and then get the jack leads going to the switcher box and then flick between the 2 radios. So that's about all I can do today. I've got a voltage meter somewhere I'm going to put in, but I have to dig it out. I'm not sure where it is. Well, I know it's red LED, or the blue ones are on the solar box. So yeah, got to get a voltage meter in there, a switcher box, and if need be, I could always put in a fan somewhere. But failing that, it's turn it off actually. It's a self-powering, self-charging. Just stand it up right. The radio's just temporarily going to be dropped in there. Might get some hooks on the side so I can hook them on the side. No plans, just work in progress. Sort of working out where it's going to go as I go. And as you can see, the cable's clear, the lid. So I want it to be able to be deployed in the field and literally just switched on. I don't want to be wiring too much up. I just want to open it up, turn it on and go. And the way it's wired at the moment, I can open it up, it starts charging on its own, and then I just turn it on. We've got a music player on channel 8. And that was my spacer I used to space out the radio, the brackets on the side. Right, I'm gonna go and get a coffee now, and then plug in the antenna. Aha! I had two big ones, so I screwed them in here, either side. Multi-purpose, could hang keys on there or something handy. But they take the radios quite nicely. And before anyone moans that the wires are going to be in the way of the solar panel, you can literally cover, I can put my hand over this panel and it still charges. I've had to cover it completely in the past to stop it from charging. So I'm thinking I should be able to close it now, and that should stop the wires from getting all tangled. It fits. Like I said, it's work in progress. No plans, I'm just building it with what's lying around in here. It's got like boxes of crap, computer components, old bits of car and radio, some parts of antenna there. And that seems to fit and do the job. Those little hooks quite well. Brilliant. Right, in the kitchen now. Got the go box. Thermometer said in the shack 26 degrees. I've come in the house and it's 25. There's a big difference because we've got air obviously coming through the doors, and the shack garage doesn't have that. So right, spin it around, lay it down flat, And what we've got so far is, and I think I'm gonna remove the hooks I put on there and just get some proper microphone clips. I've got one somewhere, possibly two. Anything is those that I'm worried about clipping them on, and then the cable. Yeah, I've got to dig them out. But yeah, that's it sitting on the table. As you can see, if we sat on a chair, let's do it the other way around because the sun's blinding me from the back door. So I sit on the table's fine, get my legs underneath. Well, as I was saying, it did stand up like this, but see, when last time I had it used like this, the battery wasn't in it, but because of the weight of the back, it's now trying to go down again. Oh well, but failing that, it'll work like that. On the desk, standing up, sitting down, laying down, right over and beg. You can see it a bit better now with all the washing. But whose house hasn't got a pile of washing? At least it's clean. Right, quite chuffed with that. I did like it, prefer it the other way round. That's why I built it that way. But since I built it, I've been wanting to turn them around that way round. Who knows, another week or two I might swap them around again. Yeah, gotta get some microphone clips in there. Don't like the way these are catching. And it's not that heavy. Handles are strong enough to be carried with one hand. And I can't hear the battery moving around, which is a good sign. There we go. I could still possibly use it that way up if I wanted to. Although it's side heavy, so it just tips over. But that's it, it doesn't slide on carpet.